What's up guys, and welcome back to another gear review where I'll be sharing my thoughts on the GORUCK GR1. If you've done some research, then I'm sure you already know the background behind this company as well as the backpack itself, so I'm not going to belabor you all with the details. Instead, I'll mainly be focusing on the pros and cons that I've found in actual use, whether I think it's worth its price, and who I think this backpack is for. At the time of this video, the MSRP on this bag is $345, but I really wouldn't put much thought to that. GORUCK's infrastructure is a mess, and they are constantly raising and lowering their prices. I have seen this bag run as high as $400 at one point, and as low as $200 when they are running their sales. Okay, so let's talk about the pros of this bag. The first thing that comes to mind is just how robust it is. A good example of this is the handle. I have never seen a handle this overbuilt on any other bag. The thing has been double stitched, triple stitched, and cross stitched. It's just ridiculous. Now I am a college student, but I do get outdoors quite often, and I do sort of abuse my stuff if I'm being honest. To put this into perspective, I think I had a new bag for every year of high school, if that says anything. But that said, after 1 year of regular use, this bag has very little wear to show for it, and I can easily see it lasting me for at least several years to come. One thing that has shown visible damage though is the shrink wrap on the zipper pull. This honestly really isn't that surprising considering that I normally open the bag with one zipper, holding the other zipper, so it's really not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, and it's an easy fix. The next thing I'm really fond of is the laptop compartment. I don't really carry notebooks anymore, and most of my work gets done on my computer or my iPad, so this is pretty essential. The way this has been set up, it's accessible from the outside, but you need to remove this shoulder strap out of the way. And this is sort of ideal in that it makes stealing the laptop from your back from behind pretty much impossible. And this is sort of a concern on other backpacks that keep the laptop in a separate compartment in front. The next thing that comes to mind is the false bottom of this laptop compartment. When you slap a traditional bag with a traditional laptop compartment on the ground, a lot of that force is actually transferred to the side of the laptop, and this prevents it. You can still tell that it goes pretty far down, but this bottom part here is extremely padded. The final thing that I like about this bag is how versatile it is. The design language is clean, and it's mostly devoid of any logos. On the inside, you have two zippered pockets for your essentials, as well as a slot pocket for documents or where I keep my iPad normally. And then also on the outside, you have your outer slash pocket. So yeah, there's not a lot going on here. Some people like their bags simple, while other people like their bags to have more features. And the great thing about this is that you don't actually have to choose because of the MOLLE attachment points. You can see on the inside that I have a feel pocket attached from GORUCK, and there's also MOLLE on the outside so that you can attach other accessories if you want to. Alright, so let's talk about the not so good stuff. As I noted earlier, this bag is built to last, and this is mainly due to the fabric being used, which is 1000 denier Cordura. Cordura is really heavy, and that's probably the first thing you're going to notice about this bag. It weighs in at 3 pounds, which I personally like, but it's not going to be for everyone. Cordura is also very abrasive, and it takes some wearing in. When I first got this backpack, the straps in particular were extremely stiff, but over the course of a year with actual use, they've definitely worn in and sort of conformed to my shoulders. Everything I've noted so far about the fabric itself can be good or bad depending on what you're looking for, but let's talk about the things that are just objectively bad. First is this outer slash pocket. It's intended to be a quick access pocket, but more often than not, it can get very difficult to access very quickly if you have the bag even moderately loaded out. I rarely have my bag fully loaded, so this isn't a concern for me, but it will be for most people. I don't keep any large items in here because of this, and it's mainly limited to my headphones, my keys, and maybe a snack if I have one. GORUCK does sell an accessory called the wire dot, which is intended to go in here, but don't think for a moment that it solves the issue. And if anything, it probably exacerbates it. The next thing that I really dislike about this bag are the MOLLE attachment points on the outside. Standalone, they look fine, but when you actually go and attach accessories, it can look pretty stupid. This is important to me because the GR1 lacks a water bottle compartment. If you actually go and buy their water bottle compartment or a third-party one and attach it, it's going to hang off the side awkwardly, and it's also going to be prone to catching on stuff. So yeah, the outer integration of accessories on the GR1 is pretty compromised from both a functional and an aesthetic standpoint. Okay, so let's talk about the price. Is it worth it? Well, yes and no. If you're paying $400 like they were trying to charge at one point, then you are definitely overpaying. I think even $300 is a stretch. But if you manage to snag one during one of their sales, I think anywhere from $200 to $250 is a pretty reasonable price point considering what you're getting. I'd also recommend hitting up the secondary market. Because of how tough these bags are built, there's very little distinction between a new bag and one that's a couple years old. Some people will try and justify this bag's price with GORUCK SCARS warranty. SCARS is basically where they'll repair the bag for life no matter how badly you abuse it. While I can't deny that this is a stellar warranty, it's also important to remember that a warranty is only as good as the company that backs it. Recently, GORUCK has done a lot of restructuring of their company, and they've even shifted some of their production overseas to Vietnam. While I understand it was the practical decision, to see them basically trash their previous statement of USA made forever and sort of their company's ethos as a whole is pretty concerning. I really wouldn't be surprised if Scars was no more in just a few years. So yeah, think of the Scars warranty as sort of the icing on the cake. It's not really a good reason why you should be justifying this bag's price or purchasing it. Let's talk about who this backpack is for. The GR1 has a reputation in the community for being the best EDC backpack or everyday carry backpack there is. As much as I hate to burst a bubble, this simply is not true. There are a lot of other options out there for much less that are much more suited towards EDC specifically. Granted, they are not as tough or as well built as the GR1, but there are also other backpacks out there that use the same exact fabric for much less. A good example of this is the Recycled Firefighter 24-hour backpack. I'd recommend buying the GR1 if 1, you like the aesthetic of it, 2, you have a laptop and you carry it on a regular basis to take advantage of the unique laptop compartment, and 3, you want something that is completely overbuilt. Make no mistake though that there are a lot of other options out there that are much better for EDC and that will cost you much less. Some of you might also be wondering whether to go for the Vietnam-made GR1 or the original USA-made GR1. As for this, I'd recommend sticking with the original USA-made GR1 for now. The Vietnam ones are supposed to be identical in terms of quality, but from what we've seen so far, unfortunately they're not up to par with the original USA-made rucks. And so if you're spending this much money on a backpack already, you might as well go with the best they have to offer. Alright, so hopefully you guys have found this review informative, and thumbs up if you liked it, and subs if you loved it. Peace out.